Hello guys, happy September, it's Worlds time, and for once I want to do some content. You've probably already seen the tier list on my Twitter, but this is the explanation to why I put things where they are. So starting off, we'll take it from step 1. Season 1 gets points for being the first. In terms of quality, it wasn't that good. Obviously the broadcast was held in not their own arena, there wasn't much crazy about it, but I think it goes straight into a B for just being the first of its kind. The European, North American competition was fun, Fnatic coming out on top. Oh, AAA in the final at the very least. Got a game of Fnatic. I mean, it was a fun tournament, had some iconic moments, and is the first of its kind, so gets extra points. Season 2 is a difficult one to rank, because in terms of competition, I think it was pretty fun. TPA coming out on top, that was a huge upset, obviously a big historic moment in the League of Legends competitive scene. But it also had technical difficulties galore. Obviously, I'm lucky enough I didn't get to watch the tournament because I was too young back then, didn't play League. So I missed all the technical difficulties, but there were a lot of them, to put it bluntly. A lot of technical difficulties. I think they even had a day where they had to do the broadcast with the studio being taken down behind them for groups or something. Regardless, the technical difficulties for me bring it down from being a very good one in terms of the competitiveness to, again, mid-B tier. The technical difficulties really ruined it. Obviously, that's when Silver Scrape started as well, because they had to play that song like 5 hours on repeat while they were trying to get things to work. So, big minus points for that. That's not okay. Season 3, an iconic world championship in my opinion. I think it had the 2 group system, like the 2 big groups. TSM played the team, I think Reginald before he retired. Fnatic made it to the semifinals. SKT started winning their first Worlds. Faker came out, all of that. Uzi versus Faker in the finals. I think this is easy. S tier world. What a world championship. Own arena, big thing as well over in NA yet again. Legendary Worlds. Season 4 though. That was a grand Worlds. Very big, obviously. Big stadium, I think, for the finals. Samsung White ended up winning. Samsung Blue, Samsung White. But that was when Asian teams really started dominating. EU obviously had a shitter, but overall, it was a solid event. But I honestly don't think it goes out. We had the kaboom moment as well, though, with Alliance. And obviously, I am an EU fan, so that should drag down. But it was a historic moment for such a small league at a time. And I think it was actually a pretty good Worlds. I think it was a pretty good Worlds, in all honesty. I'll drag it down one tier, though, because I don't think it was that great. Do I define it as A tier? This is hard. It could be A tier, but I think it would be bottom A tier then. You know what? We'll throw it A tier for now. I can always move it around. So Season 5 now. Season 5. The meta. This is when I really started to watch. The meta, really, really bad, I would say, with the Juggernaut. Really ruining a lot of things, but it also made for some exciting moments. So was Pentakill. Balls Pentakill. We had NA looking very good in week 1, then being in the dumpster for week 2. I think they didn't win a game, or maybe just one game in week 2. Throughout all their teams, they all got sent home packing. It was an incredible world. As in UFA, 2 teams in semi-finals. I think some minor heroes picked up good wins as well. That was when AHQ was pretty good. NL, some of those games, man. Fnatic up against AHQ was a banger. Flash Wolves also was pretty good. So I think in terms of diversity as well, for the teams that made it to the quarters, was pretty high. For me, it's an S tier. I'm going to be completely honest. I think this is a very iconic world. Nah, it's not an S tier. Let's be honest. It's not S tier with the Juggernaut meta. Juggernaut meta was fun, but also good. Jungle diversity, though, was at an all-time low. The Gragas bug obviously got him out of the meta. I think it was Rek'Sai and Elise, maybe. So the meta, while it also brings it a bit up, also brings it a bit down with the lack of diversity in the jungle position and how unbalanced some things were. I think GP as well was also pretty unbalanced because he has just been reworked. So that brings it down for me. Moving on, 2016. It was SKT again versus Rocks Tigers, one of the probably the most legendary best of 5 ever, most played at this event in the semi-final with the Misfortune. So in terms of the games, I think it goes up there. We had Albus Nux Luna as well coming out, G2 bombing out, H2K not scrimming at all, but somehow making it to the semi-finals. I think competition-wise, this was just an all-round incredible Worlds. 2017 now. Worlds was heading to China. Big venues, big events. I mean, the finals, when they really started making the finals crazy. You can see it here with the Dragon as well. Obviously, probably one of the most iconic moments, and the most iconic moment in an opening ceremony from Riot Games. In terms of level of play, I mean, EU and NA had a couple teams in quarters, but didn't make it to the semi-final. It was Korea versus China in the semi-finals. We had some good games, though. SKT continuing to stand strong. The Misfit series, the series against RNG from SKT as well. Faker losing his crown in the final to Samsung Galaxy. The same final in 2016, but this time Samsung Galaxy won 3-0 sweep. I mean, it had a lot of good stuff going for it, but the meta, I think, was somewhat boring. I think the meta was pretty boring, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. The art and centimeter wasn't that enjoyable. I think it ruined a lot of things, but it also just had so many insane games that I think it deserves a pretty okay rating. I don't think it's gonna go S tier, but I think I'll start at A tier alongside the 2015 one. I think these two are pretty similar in terms of height. 2018. What a world championship. Obviously, I'm a Fnatic fan. That's when we made it to finals. In terms of games, I'm gonna be honest, it was pretty fucking boring from semi-final onwards. 3-0s in semis, 3-0 in finals. Play-ins, Unicorns of Love took Cloud9 to game 5. Had some hype moments in there as well, but it was pretty alright worlds, I would say. I don't think when you realistically look at it that it's that great. KT versus IG, incredible series as well. Fnatic versus IG in groups was also a banging 2 games when Fnatic came back and managed to take that first seed. But I think honestly this has to go lower on the list. I think honestly this is gonna go top of B tier. 2019 though, the glory year for EU. I think it's clear to say 3 teams out of groups, G2 in finals. I really thought that was gonna be the time EU won it. FPX, their redemption from looking very bad at the start of the group stage to then coming back, securing the first seed in tiebreakers against Splice, and then just running the gauntlet. That was pretty hype. This was a good world. It was a really good world. I think as well with True Damage. I really liked that song. I think it was good. Same for KDA actually. KDA, this gets a bump up to low 80 because of KDA. KDA really did a lot of stuff for Worlds here actually. 2019 though, the pentakill from Viper there between Griffin and IG. The Shy in the semifinals against FPX, failing to ult because he got caught out. That one decisive moment to secure the game 4 for FPX. I think at legendary moments as well. Fnatic versus FPX was a banger as well. Fnatic making it out of the group of death. I think this was a really good tournament. Okay, screw it. I'm moving it lowest. I think it's a legendary world. I think it was Season 10 though. The COVID world. And I'm going to be honest, I think Riot did an incredible job considering that this was during COVID. The fact that they managed to run this tournament is insane. But other than that, how memorable is it? I think it was good worlds. Like the studio they did was really, really cool. All the changes with green screens and all that. I think that was super cool. Made it freshen up the different parts of the tournament. In terms of competition at the tournament, this was the last hooray for the G2 roster. Down 1 Kia getting revenge. Winning the whole thing. Suning coming out of nowhere, beating some Chinese teams. The reverse sweep of Fnatic. And while I do hate that series, it was a banger, let's be completely honest. Play-ins was hyped as well. EU 4 seed not making it out. LGD stumbled in play-ins but managed to make it through somehow. Unicorns of Love finally made it. FlyQuest almost made it out of groups as well. I think this was a really good world. I don't think it's quite S tier, but I think this is a good world. Finals, Pentakill for Bin in the finals as well. I think it goes above 18, honestly. I really think it does. Now this one though, 2021. I'm gonna be honest, I think this kind of sucked. This was a boring world. Group D, that's the one highlight for me this tournament. Group D was a banger. 3-3 all around the block. We had to have 3 tiebreaker games. LNG versus Mad Lions was berserk. But I just don't think this tournament is very memorable. I think the studio this time around was way more boring. The branding lost character. Detonation Focus Me made it through, and huge props to them. That was actually pretty hype from play-ins. That was cool. That's the one moment I remember from play-ins. I never just really felt as hyped throughout the tournament. It just felt kind of memorable. I'm gonna be honest. It goes into top of B tier. I don't think it was that great. The conclusion is, Riot always does have good worlds. Worlds always are pretty good. Yeah, worlds is always pretty good. That is the conclusion you can take away from my tier list here, regardless. If you disagree with me, please let me know. Reply to my Twitter, reply in the comments, or whatever you want to do. But this is my world's ranking. Thank you guys for watching.